President Trump and Bill Pulte are talking about a 50-year mortgage. They're pitching it as a game changer to help more Americans own homes. This idea immediately received a ton of backlash, even from people inside of Trump's cabinet and other Republicans. But why are people so bent out of shape about it? I mean, heck, if you're planning for retirement, a 50-year mortgage gives you a lower payment, that's less money to withdraw from your investment accounts, and more money to spend on vacation. And back in the 1930s, what a lot of people don't realize is that President Roosevelt introduced the 30-year mortgage as part of the New Deal to help families recover from the Great Depression. It worked back then, so what's the problem with stretching it to 50 years now? President Trump himself said, all it means is you pay less per month, you pay it over a longer period of time. It's not like a big factor. That's really interesting to me. So before you go jumping for joy about the latest solution to high home prices and high interest rates, let's take a look at what not like a big factor really means specifically with regards to your retirement plans. Because on this channel, that's what we're all about, helping you retire sooner than you could on your own. I'm Rob Bacharach, certified financial planner. Let's dive in. First thing, I'm going to show you a 30-year and 50-year mortgage side by side. I'm going to go through it very quickly. I'm using it from this website that anybody can go to. It's called calculator.net/mortgage. You can go check it out. I'll put the link in the description. So, for starters, what's going on with the 50-year mortgage? What's the difference? Why is it a benefit or not a good thing from a traditional 30-year mortgage? First, let's take a look at the traditional 30-year mortgage. We're looking at a $500,000 house with a 10% down payment, that's $50K, a 6% interest rate. On this home, your payment is going to be $2,697.98 per month. The total interest that you would pay if you made these exact payments over the full 30 years would be $521,000. Now, let's look at the 50-year option on the same home, the same deal. So 6% interest rate, $500,000 house, 10% down payment, the same exact loan amount. Your payment is going to be a little bit less at $2,368.82. The total interest that you're going to pay on this home throughout the course of your 50-year mortgage is $971,000. So the difference in your monthly payment, which is the big idea, big draw of this 50-year mortgage, is $329 a month. Okay, fine. I'll take $300 a month. But the difference in interest that you would pay on these two mortgages over the life of their loans is an extra $450,000 for the 50-year mortgage. So instead of paying $500K for the $500,000 house, you're going to pay $970,000 for the $500,000 house. And excuse me, that's just $970,000 in interest. You're really going to pay more like $1.4 million for the $500,000 home. So what they're pitching me is that if I get an extra $300 a month, that's great. I can spend it on whatever, but I'm going to pay an extra $450,000 more for my home. This is no different than being at the car dealership and asking for a better deal, and the salesperson takes the sheet of paper and goes back to the manager and then comes back and says, hey, look, we lowered your payment. And you look at it and you say, okay, you lowered my payment, but all the price for the car is still the same. All they did was take you from a 60-month payment to a 72-month payment. And so how does this all parlay over to retirement planning? Number one, on this channel, we talk a lot about the importance of investment selection and not getting caught up into traps, bad investments, things that look great on the surface, but in reality, they really lead to poor performance and other issues. Many people view buying a home as this great investment. But if you're going to spend an extra $450,000 on the home, you're in what's called a negative equity position. So one of the great things of owning the home, building all this equity that you can have to borrow against in retirement or use to make other investments, that's not really going to exist for 20 to 30 years before you even start creating a little bit of equity. And so you're paying far more into this home than what it is actually worth. And I think most people would consider paying 2 or 3 times more than what something is actually worth a bad investment. Poor investment decisions like this will undoubtedly eat into your goals of building wealth and living the life you want in retirement. Number 2, legacy planning. Many people view their homes as a great thing to be able to pass on to their kids one day, so that this is an asset that they can either use or they can inherit, get a step up in basis, and sell and have all of the equity come to them completely tax-free. But on a 50-year mortgage, in the first 20 years alone, you're going to pay over $500,000 in interest and pay down the principal very, very little. So even the perceived equity, meaning just on paper what the home is worth and what you own on it, there is very little equity. All you did was put a 10% down payment, so you only started with a 90% loan to value. And in the first 20 years, that hasn't changed a whole lot. So your kids inherit this property, and there's still no real value for them to be able to earn from selling the home. All right, and not to mention the fact that if, let's say, you're in your 30s or 40s and you buy a home with a 50-year mortgage to try and save a couple bucks a month on a monthly payment, because I get it, life's expensive right now, you're going to have that mortgage into your 80s or 90s. And so that's another extra cost that you're dragging with you into retirement. That is something that we really want to try to at least reduce prior to retirement. It's not necessary to have zero mortgage, but do you want to be making this massive mortgage payment on a home? No, that doesn't make sense. It would cost you less to probably just go rent somewhere, downsize and go rent, than have some huge mortgage payment until you're 80 or 90 years old. And finally, there's this argument about, well, I'll just use the difference, that $300 a month, and I'll go invest it because I can make more money in the market than whatever my interest rate is, 6%, 6.5%, whatever it is. But again, that is the completely wrong way to look at this, especially from a retirement planning standpoint. Here's why. With a mortgage, your interest in the beginning is based on $450,000 in day one. But with your plan to invest $300 a month and be able to eventually take advantage of the sixth wonder of the world, compounding interest, you're starting with zero. So one of these numbers is based on $450,000, and your number for investing the difference is based on zero, and you're talking $300 a month. $300 a month, or $321 to be exact. If we said that you earn 8% per year, and you can do these same calculations on the same website that I'm linking below, just go to the future value calculator. In 20 years, you're still only going to have an extra $190,000. And in those same 20 years, you will have paid an extra $500,000 in interest on your home. Or if we flip the scenario here, and you were on to your 30-year mortgage, and you were 20 years in, now you only have got 10 years left, and the majority of your payment is going towards principal. So which one is more valuable to you for the long term as we're flowing into retirement? Paying down interest at 6% that is based on a $450,000 number, or trying to invest or grow our money that's based on a $0 number at only $300 a month. This is not a great value proposition here. So with that being said, Roosevelt did this coming out of the Great Depression. He created the 30-year mortgage because it was one of the, if not the worst economic time in our country's entire history. Interest rates were extremely high. Stock prices were extremely low. Unemployment was at all-time highs. But right now, we're just going through a slow period of home sales because we've had this huge run-up the last few years. The stock market is hitting all-time highs every day. Unemployment numbers are still generally speaking low. Yes, home affordability is a problem, I get it, but Pulte says that this is a game changer. In my opinion, this is only a game changer for one group, and that's Pulte and the other home builders who are building these thousands and thousands of houses all at a time, and they need to be able to sell more of them for higher prices. So when we're talking about investments and money long-term and a 30-year or 50-year mortgage related to retirement planning, this to me absolutely seems like one of those traps, like many other investments that are only going to really benefit the people that are doing the selling, not the ones doing the buying. Thank you so much for joining me today. If you enjoyed this content, please don't forget, hit that subscribe button. And join us for our weekly videos that we put out to help you retire sooner than you could on your own. Thanks a lot. Have a great day.